Hi guys, do you know what the stereotypes are?
Yeah, there are horrible ideas that people used to think about a group, but they are always not true. Like saying all soccer players are rude.
Exactly, some stereotypes can be funny, but other ones can hurt people.
Right, there are local ones too. For example, some people think all Mexican wear sombreros and eat tacos every day.
In another countries, people say all French are romantic and all Americans love fast food.
But for example, movies, TV shows, and social media make stereotypes even worse because they repeat them a lot.
Yes, that's true. For example, in superhero movies, women are often just the second character, and in past cultures, they used to show women as, like men as stronger than women.
Yeah, that's why we should think before believing everything we see. Of course, not all is true.
For the next time we hear the stereotypes, let's ask ourselves, it is real or just something people say.
Yeah, let's stop stereotypes instead of spreading them.
Welcome to our random podcast. Today we will have some friends who will be talking about some mental health issues. Welcome Nat, Lau and Miggy. I have heard something about self-surgery. Would you mind to talk about it?
Hello guys, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Firstly, I have a question. Do you have a photo editing apps? If yes, do you use that?
Hi guys, I have one photo editing app and I use it a lot.
Yes, Lau. I have a lot of similar apps. Why?
Because people use a lot social media, and there are some people call themselves selfie lovers. That people go to the doctor because they want to get their dream photo a reality. So they feel stressed when someone made a picture of them because they think they are not looking as the Instagram photograph.
It sounds really worrying. Some of you think those kind of behaviors may affect mental health. Nat, what do you think about social media impact mental health?
Yes, of course, Javi, kind of events affects mental health because mental health is in affect by social media since people spend a lot of time scrolling Instagram photos, posts, and stories.
Like yesterday when we saw Miguel.
Yes, that's a good example. Miguel's behavior causes pleasure to the brain, giving it dopamine, which increases the necessity of scrolling and looking more and more photos and information.
All right. I'm really interested to know about what Miguel would be talking about as all the time using their cell phone. What do you think, Miguel?
Currently, people usually pretend to be someone else they aren't. Javi, does social media represent real life?
Not really. What is the point?
I want to get your opinion because people always are looking to escape reality and change their appearance, pretending to show economic status, etc.
That's really interesting. Thank you all for sharing this kind of really important topics and for bringing them to the program. We would like to finish letting you know as a disclaimer, please be careful with social media because it can affect your mental health, self-esteem, and impact on your personal and real life.
Thank you guys. See you in next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You know, COVID-19 really show us how fast this disease can spread and change our lives.
It changes and it affects jobs, schools, and even the way we live. And it also taught us that health is connected to everything, even the environment.
That's true, Nat. Climate change makes diseases worse. If it gets hotter, for example, mosquitoes spread illnesses to new places, and dirty air makes people sick.
And it's not fair because not everyone gets the same help. Poorer countries suffer more since they don't have enough hospitals and medicines.
That's why it's also about human rights. Everyone should have clean water, good healthcare, for example, and change is making things.
Yes, Miguel is making things worse. For example, in the past, many diseases spread because of pollution, of bad pollution and bad live conditions. And now climate change is making things even worse.
Or the good thing is that we can do something about it. For example, taking care of nature helps protecting our health.
And a small change like reducing pollution and protecting forests can stop a future disaster for spreading.
So, if we help the planet, we help ourselves. A healthy world means healthy people.
Okay?
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with you. Hi. Today we bring together 4 voices in order to discuss the topic if should Colombia have to put stricter laws regarding Venezuela immigrants. And we have Miguel and Laura. They want to keep the laws as they are today. And on the opposite, we have Javier and Natalia. We want to modify the laws in order to be more strict. So let's start.
I believe we must keep the laws as we have today with borders open to Venezuelan brothers. History shows us that when Colombian people were in trouble, they opened its doors to us, and now it's time to give them a friendly hand.
In my position, I consider that Colombian government had to take strong laws because the country is passing through a security issue due to the arrival of Venezuelan immigrants that are, of course, increasing other rates, which represent a high risk for Colombian society.
But I think we can ignore the humanitarian crisis. We have been watching in the news the hunger and poverty situations. If we help them, we are going to be able to share great values such as generosity, compassion, and support for human life, and that also is going to put the country in a good position.
Yes, but I believe that Colombia must consider its economic restrictions, limitations, because the fact of providing resources for both citizens and immigrants could decrease nation's development.
Economic changes are real, but Venezuelans can give us diverse skills, perspective, and culture, can help Colombian perform in aspects like economic development, technological advance, and making better country in general.
We think cultural preservation is crucial for a country's unity. Colombia has to keep his national identity.
But Colombia and Venezuela are in two different. We share history, we share language, and we share tradition and cultures. Instead of seeing this is a threat, we should embrace the opportunity to strengthen our regional bonds.
I think we have to be realistic. Without the enough resources, Colombia can't help everybody. So I think the priority is to protect Colombian citizens and give them the correct resources. Now that we know the argument for each part, let's see what could be the possible solution. The first aspect is what would the law be?
Colombia must collaborate with the neighboring countries to share the responsibility of hosting migrants equitably. It also establishes a framework for international and programs, cultural exchange initiatives, and security measures to support integrations, mutual understanding, and safety.
The next aspect is why would the law be in place?
The law is designed to handle the challenge posed by large-scale migration by promoting shares responsibility, ensuring that migrants and host communities have access to necessary resources, and fostering social cohesion. It aims to balance humanitarian obligations with the safety and well-being of both migrants and citizens.
What does the law allow or prohibit?
Collaborative agreements with neighboring countries to help migrants, establishment of international aid programs in order to support programs with shelter, healthcare, and education, implementation of cultural activities for integration and reducing social tensions, and security measures such as migrant registration and security checks. About prohibits rejecting migrants without taking to other countries, bad use of funds designed to migrant support, discrimination based on origin or religion, and entering without registration or security checks.
The last question for this law is what would the punishment be for violating the law? For governments and organizations, the punishment will be penalties such as suspension of international resources. For immigrants, they will have to complete the mandatory register. They also have to pass through detention and execution for future helpings. And for officials that do corruption or negligence, they are going to have immediate suspension, fines, and legal action for corruption.
I was talking with my parents about past generations and recent ones, and I want to know, what do you think about?
Yes, it's a great topic. For example, my parents left their homes early because they want to build their own lives. Since their parents didn't have enough money for everyone, the people used to be more risk. They would rather go home to the other relatives and then stay in their hometown because they were in a great need. In the past, opportunity to study or work in the countryside were very difficult.
Yes, I agree with you, Lau. And also, they left their homes really young because they wanted to get married. And this also happened because parents in the past were used to be really strict with them. And of course, they often kicked them if they didn't follow it.
My family had a related experience because my mom, since she was bored about the situation in her house, as she had to cook every day for the workers, and she didn't want to do it for more time. In consequence, she left their home against my grandmother, and I think she made the right decision because in the past generations, women had to do all the work in their home, and I think that it's a situation that has been changing a lot.
I believe that people used to focus on that experience, on those experiences. Of course, it's really important to discuss the past issues, of course, in order to avoid them in the present. However, I would like to highlight that in the past, the way you interact with the people used to be in person, and in the future, this will be probably changing as the virtual interactions are reducing the human interaction, including the people from the same age. If you compare your parents at your age, probably they already have married or they have already built a house, and in the present, our generation prefers to have some pets instead of children.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Now we are discussing about megacities, how they form, their pros and cons, and their the future. What do you think, Nat?
Yes, Lau, I know that megacities have over 10 million people in all the cities, growing due to organizations, jobs, education, and opportunities.
But they also bring overcrowding, pollution, and housing issues. Traffic can be a nightmare.
I think it's true, but they also drive innovation, culture, and of course, economic growth.
Nat, what would you rather live in a megacity or a countryside?
I would rather live in a city, of course, because we have a lot of things to do.
I'd choose the countryside. Fresh air, and less stress.
That's a good opinion. Keep in mind with global population growth, of course, we need sustainable urban planning to make the people a good place to live.
Today, we're diving into the education system, its failures, opportunities, and how to make it better.
One key debate is public against private education. Public schools are accessible but often underfunded, while private schools, of course, offer better resources but are expensive.
Yes, and education challenges go beyond that. Many countries face issues like overcrowded classrooms, outdated curriculums, and a lack of qualified teachers.
It's true. And education equality is a major issue. Everyone deserves a good education, but social and economic factors create a huge gaps in accessibility and quality.
So, how do we fix it? Policies for fair funding, better teacher training, and access to technology could help. could help bridge the gap.
Exactly, but more investment in public education and scholarships for low-income students can create more opportunities.
Also, alternative education models like online training and vocational training can be game changers.
It's true, Nat. We have covered a lot today, but the conversation doesn't stop here. Keep the discussion going and let's work towards the better education for everyone. Until next time.
Okay, thank you guys.
Have you noticed how gestures mean different things in different places?
Yes, guys, for example, thumbs up means good here, but in some other countries, it's actually rude.
And waving to say hi is normal for us, but in some places, people only use it to call animals.
That's it's so interesting. It's just like language. Did you know English isn't the same everywhere? There is a British English, there is American English, and even an Australian English. And they all have different words and accents.
And even if Spanish, we have dialects. People in Spain speak differently from people in Latin America, for example.
Yes, that's true. For example, one word can mean one thing in one country and one other totally different thing in another country. For example, the word torta means a cake in Mexico and in Argentina is a sandwich.
That's why learning about different language and dialects is so important. It helps us to understand people below.
So let's start.
Miguel, es que empieza. Entonces ahí por eso podemos cortar o hacerlo nuevo.
Cortamos, ¿no?
¿Qué pasó, crack?
Por favor, muchacho. Pero dígame usted 3, 2, 1. Y le vamos a pagar.
¿Quieres borrar ese?
And spread and chase our lives.
Yes, it affects jobs, schools, and even the way we live. But it also taught us that health is connected to anything.
Es que casi se nos cae y quedamos así como... Quedamos así
No vi. Solo vi como Javier.
Retoma.
Yo solo los vi cuando los hicieron así.
Restar.
Listo. 1, 2...